Total War Pharaoh, it is finally time for a brand new addition to the Total War series. And again, that is going to be Total War Pharaoh. And I can't explain to you, I can't express to you just how excited I am for a new Total War game, especially a historical title that is finally being released. Don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed the Warhammer Total Wars, but I was very much looking forward to getting back into the historical aspect of the Total War video games that I fell in love with when I started playing Rome Total War and Medieval Total War. So really quick, let's just answer a common question that everyone might have, and that is, what is Total War Pharaoh and when exactly does it take place? Well, as you can see with this information right here, we are going to experience ancient Egypt during the vibrant and tumultuous era of the Bronze Age collapse. Now, it should be noted that in the most recent video that was released, the first look at Total War Pharaoh, the developers themselves said that basically the game is going to be the whole world is collapsing and it is up to you as a pharaoh and or king to bring it back up. That is going to be incredible, which brings us to the next bit of information we have, which is how many playable factions are going to be available. There will be a total of 8 playable factions at the time of release, obviously through the Egyptian, the Canaanites, and the Hittites. So plenty of playable factions. There was a little bit of worry that there might not be too many at the start due to DLC. However, it's nice to be shown that there's going to be a total of 8 playable factions, which is actually quite a good amount. Which of course brings us to the next topic, which is the additions that you can buy for Total War Pharaoh. Now, for the $59.99 price tag, that is going to get you the standard edition, which is going to get you the base game, the Total War Pharaoh. You're going to be able to play all 8 factions at the time of release, and that is what the base standard edition is going to get you. If you want to spend a little bit more, $72.87, they're saying here that it's saving you 10% by buying the deluxe edition. That is going to get you the Total War Pharaoh base game along with the Faction Pack DLC 1 and the digital soundtrack. Now, if the soundtrack for this game is anything like the past Total Wars, that's a pretty good bargain because the soundtracks are usually very beautiful, great to listen to. And ultimately, if you want to be the big spender and spend the $91.46, and this is saying that you're going to save 25% by buying the Dynasty Edition, that is going to net you the Total War Pharaoh game, all 3 Faction Pack DLCs, the Campaign Pack DLC, and the digital soundtrack. Now, obviously, this is going to be for the hardcore Total War fanatic. You want everything. Now, it's unknown as to whether or not these DLC packs are going to be available day 1 or later. If you guys happen to know, please comment down below whether or not these are going to be available day 1 and or at a later date. And if you choose to pre-order Total War Pharaoh before the release date, you are also going to be gifted the Avatar of the Gods cosmetic pack, as well as the Heart of the Shardana cosmetic pack. And it's going to get you Early Access Weekend. Now, Early Access Weekend isn't the full release of the game. From CA, they are saying you're going to be able to play part of the game prior to the full release, which isn't too bad. Again, you won't be able to play the full game. At least you will be able to play part of the game just to get an idea, kind of get started on the strategy that you want to go with, try out the different factions that you want to play so you can ultimately make your main decision when the full release happens and you want to start your campaign. So really quick, let's just kind of dive into what the first look video kind of informed us about and told us what to expect for the game Total War Pharaoh. It seems that the main antagonists in this game are going to be called what they're referring to as the Sea Peoples. Now, that could be a group of raiders, a separate faction that we have yet to know the name of, but it's pretty exciting to know that we have a main antagonist that we have to worry about. It's unknown, however, if this is going to be a faction that you can completely conquer and wipe out early in your campaign, or if they're going to be a problem throughout the entirety of your campaign. Now, something they have introduced to this Total War that they haven't really introduced in the past Total Wars, certainly not to the effect that it had a drastic change on how you go about your battles or the gameplay overall, is dynamic weathering, which they are saying is going to play a big part on the battle map, as well as the campaign map. They're saying that they are introducing fog, sandstorms, sweltering heat, as well as rain. And the dynamic area of this is that you could start a battle where it maybe starts out cloudy, then it starts to turn into a light rain, causing moist ground, mud starting to form up, which then could turn into a heavy storm, which then creates massive mud piles, which will significantly affect certain troops in your army, such as heavy chariots, which they are saying could get stuck in the mud, troops with heavy armor, which will be slowed and fatigue faster, which then allows you, with your lighter armored troops, to come in swiftly and take action against that. They also made mention that the fire has been completely reworked. No longer is it just for show and maybe has minor effects here and there. They are saying that the fire dynamics is going to be huge in that it can start in one area and completely spread. If you start a fire in a wooded area where maybe you believe there are some hidden troops, it will start and slowly start to expand outward, exposing those troops, causing casualties, having effects on the troops that are caught in whether it's the fire and or smoke, as well as if you were to go into a siege battle, start a fire in the city. No longer is it just for looks, but they are saying that if you were to let the whole city burn, or at least half or partial, it is going to have effects post-battle, whether it be the cost to repair everything, the amount that the people that you've occupied, whether they like you or hate you. So the fact that the fire now has a huge effect in battles is going to make it far more exciting and, of course, bring much more tactical decisions your way. Now, the developers are saying that there are multiple choices that you can choose to try and achieve victory through your campaign. Obviously, you can strive to become the Pharaoh and or the High King, and they are saying that you can choose to do neither of those and simply go through the campaign without achieving any of those ranks. It'll be significantly more difficult to win, however, it is possible. And in order to become a Pharaoh and or High King, you have to go and deal with civil wars that are constantly breaking out, again, because this is the collapse of the Bronze Age era. You have to build up your legitimacy, and you have to ultimately work hard to become the High King and or the Pharaoh. So they are saying, and once you become the Pharaoh and or the High King, they are talking about how pretenders can come in from other factions. If the Hittites take one area of your land, they have the ability to become a pretend Pharaoh, is what they're calling it right now, and you are going to have to fight against that. So becoming the Pharaoh and or the High King doesn't just end there. You are constantly having to maintain your legitimacy and build up that trust amongst your people so that you can remain the Pharaoh and or High King. Now, in order to maintain this legitimacy, you of course have to build shrines. You have to choose gods that people are going to respect and are going to build your stats. Now, my hope is that if it's as chaotic as they are making it sound, not only are the battles going to be absolutely epic, but the actual economy side of this game is going to be remarkable. The economy as well as the diplomatic side of things. And I am really hoping for that because I feel it has kind of been lagging in the more recent Total Wars. To bring back the in-depth political agendas and difficulties that they gave us in the past Total War titles from long ago that made the game so epic and difficult. Honestly, I've got to say that this is shaping up to be a pretty awesome Total War title as we can read it on paper. Obviously, we have to put the actual game to the test when it's finally released. We get early access, or some of the bigger streamers get to play it much earlier and see how it runs. But from everything we are currently reading about and seeing as it pertains to the events that are going to happen, the dynamic weathering, the way the battles are fought with new battle maps, as well as new animations and how the armies perform and act in battle, the diplomacy that seems like it's been reworked and is going to play a huge part during this collapse of the Bronze Age. In the end, I can't express to you guys again how excited I am for this title to finally be released, as I'm sure you all are as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be looking up information for Total War Pharaoh or watching the video. But anyways, that's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please comment down below. Let's have a discussion. What are you guys wanting to see in the future? What are you hoping that they have added that we don't already know about? And likewise, if you guys have enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps me out, it helps the channel, and helps get this video out to many more so they can see it. And on the other side of things, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more on Total War Pharaoh when it is released, more on updates as they come out, because I will be getting videos out on updates as they release, and many more other video games like it, please consider subscribing. Try and get a video game out to everybody once a week, but try and up that to 2 to 3 times a week. Anyways, I'm going to get back at it, start doing my research. Can't wait for the next update. Until then, I hope you all have an incredible day. Take it easy, okay?